Hi, so this is 473, our internship and volunteer discussion group work. So starting off, we have to read through each scenario and then answer questions about it. So scenario 1, should we read out loud them or should we just read in our heads and then answer the questions? It's up to you. Or I guess we should probably have answers to these already, huh?
We could read it out loud, I guess.
Yeah.
Or you want to read it by yourself?
We'll just read it real quick.
Okay.
Just like refresh.
Oh no. That's really sad.
So, what could have prevented this from occurring? So in scenario 1, it's talking about a girl who fell off a balcony. I think, I don't know if she was like underage or not, but probably her like alcohol consumption and like who she was with, if she was like doing everything by herself or if she was with a group, like
Maybe like having a supervisor
yeah.
over them. Because it does say she was 18.
Okay.
I guess she's an adult, but
that's not drinking age.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Well, some places, but not in Hawaii.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really sad.
So yeah, so like more supervision over what was happening.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I mean, they're still in high school, it says, so
Yeah.
they should have somebody still over them.
Especially like if they're drinking. Like I know some adults think that's okay, but technically the law says it's not okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, how we would say that they need someone there to like not have her drink or to be there to like watch what's going on, even though either way they shouldn't be drinking. Is the organization liable for the lawsuit? Why or why not? Which organization?
Is it the hotel?
I would say the hotel is not at fault because although the team supervisor or something could be at fault because they do have like parent rights over the child while they're not with their parents. They're like saying they'll be their guardian thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that they would watch for them.
Yeah. So I don't think the hotel isn't at fault because they're there to provide a room, to provide services that way, and they haven't like done anything that would affect that.
Unless they were the ones that gave them the alcohol.
But then, like, they're not going to give alcohol to an 18-year-old. It's like, that makes them legally liable if they're doing that. Although, like, the only time they would be, like, at fault is if, like, she fell off a balcony and because the balcony broke or something like that. Yeah. That would cause them to be at fault. But it just says that she's found on their grounds. It's not even like she fell off a balcony or anything like that, right? Yeah. Or did it say she fell off her death from a hotel? Yeah, so she did fall from a balcony, but was it because of like structural imperfections of the balcony, or was it because she was too tipsy?
Yeah.
Questions. Yeah, but so Susan Sandler, is she the person who would be at fault? The Sandler's daughter and another can't figure out which person is the person who died. The Crosman? Oh, the Crosman girl.
Laura.
She died.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so with Susan Sandler's daughter. So Susan Sandler, are we assuming is the adult?
I think so.
Okay, so I would say she's at fault.
Yeah.
For not having good enough supervision. Although the teenager, she's definitely at fault too because she was being stupid.
Yeah.
Like, but if
Yeah.
you could always like pull like she's not mentally able because she's only 18, she's not an adult yet. Even though like
nowadays with all the lawsuits and stuff.
Yeah. So I would say probably Susan Sandler's the one who's gonna get sued.
Yeah.
But the organization, I don't think is. So, like, the football organization, unless they provided the alcohol, maybe. I don't know if they're giving to underage. You don't know anything about that. But I don't think the Hula Bowl or anything like that is at fault, or, like, the hotel.
Yeah, I wouldn't say.
How would you go about repairing this situation?
I don't think you really can repair it. Someone died.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would say
I guess making sure that there's a responsible adult on other.
Yeah, like how you resolve it is to Lauren's parents, like explain the whole situation, like letting them know what happened. And I don't know if like Susan Sandler should be the one who should be resolving that conflict, or if it's like the high school that needs to be doing it. So
yeah. I don't know either.
So
very confusing, kind of. Like,
but someone needs to like let the parents know what happened, what were the circumstances that like led to their daughter's death. Like, was she at fault or was she not supervised well enough? Because the parents are probably going to say their kid's not at fault, and that they're going to want some resolution with why weren't they supervised properly. Which means that either like Susan Sandler is going to have to pay some like intense money to like make up for their child's death, or the high school's going to, or because they're probably going to sue the high school for like letting their daughter go and then saying that they have proper supervision, but then not supervising them.
Yeah.
So the parents might sue the high school, and then the high school might sue Susan Sandler, and she's going to lose everything.
Oh no. So this scenario actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so our resolution is that all information should be brought forth, and then settlement should be made on what the parents think their daughter's life is worth.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, but anyway. Scenario 2. Oh.
What?
So, questions. What could have prevented this from occurring? Proper screening of like individuals.
Yeah.
And then like listening to the kids like for what they were saying. I know sometimes it's hard because like you want to believe the adult, but You need to like know the facts on like different ways people act and like all that kind of stuff. It might be even like best to like bring a third party in, one who doesn't know either, and like see the dynamics and stuff of how things are going on. Because like people act a certain way. They're not just gonna like make stuff up. But
like should have documented that because there was 2 of them
that
said they'd been abused. So it's like they would 2 people is more than like more believable than 1, I guess. I don't know. That's really sad. Okay. So who would be liable?
Probably the fire company and that lady, because it says in here that sexual assault or molestation, you have entitlement to personal injury compensation, and most likely they're going to win because they were kids when it happened. And although I don't know if there's like a like after so long it doesn't count anymore.
Like a time period.
Yeah, it's only valid for so long.
Yeah, because it says they're grown up now, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're adults.
Statute of limitations.
Yeah, so
like the two people, they say that the fire department or like the fire company knew what was going on and that they didn't do anything about it. So I think most likely that company is going, either way, they're not going to win that conversation. Like,
no,
it's not going to happen. So, is the organization liable for the lawsuit? I would say yes, because they put themselves in a situation where they didn't document anything. They didn't take like into consideration or like do any reviews or anything like that. They didn't like go through protocols. What else? Okay, and then how would you go about repairing the situation? What would you do?
Well, I think that they should obviously maybe do a training or something to teach their employees like how to document something like that when someone comes to them and claims that they're being sexually abused or something, how they can report it. Because maybe they didn't know like how to address it or explain it to someone. So maybe that's why they didn't report it or say anything about it. So maybe just having a training over that to inform them of what they should do in that scenario could be a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that most likely the lawsuit would go through and that they would win personal injury compensation. So I think that's how it would be settled, is through money. So that's how everything's settled.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, how you can repair the situation is either like the fire company or like something like that going up to the clients, the firefighters, and like just explaining how like sorry they are for what happened and like how policies and procedures are going to change.
Yeah.
And like to make sure that doesn't happen to anyone else, kind of thing. And I think that would like repair, because like I would be mad that the fire department didn't. So like them saying we messed up and that we're going to change obviously would help the situation. Okay, number 3. Okay. So what could have prevented this from occurring? He could have had more communication with his wife. I don't know. Just like explaining, like, I don't want you here. We're here all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Instead of passing a law saying, like, your wife cannot work with you in the building. Like, that's, I feel like that's more for personal reasons instead of.
Like, isn't that already kind of a rule, though? Like,
Is it?
family
You can't
work in the same place. I don't know.
You
Maybe
can't
it's
work.
not.
I don't think so. I think in like the military, you're not supposed to. But
Okay.
I don't think I know like most people don't because they can't like handle being with their other person all the time.
Yeah.
But like there are companies where the wife like works in the company, especially like small businesses and stuff.
Yeah.
There's like husbands and wives that are professors at different schools and stuff. So
that's true.
So I don't think they might not be able to be in the same like department or in the same. Or they probably could.
They could be
probably could. I don't know. But is the organization liable for a lawsuit? Yeah. I could see the council getting sued by the wife or something like that. That's like. I don't know. It's like using power for like personal gain or something like that.
Like it seems like they're trying to attack
It's not like doing it responsibly.
Yeah. It's kind of over a dumb thing too.
The council member said that the ordinance had been promoted because what's that word? Squario?
Last name. Retiro?
Was a full-time unpaid worker in her husband's office and had been a source of controversy.
Why would it be such a controversial thing if she was unpaid?
I don't know, like he's getting free work? But
because she's just like volunteering.
I don't know. Maybe they want her to be paid. Or they don't. Well, no, they wouldn't because they're trying to get rid of her in general. I don't know. If I were her, I would like push to get paid. I would sue them for not paying you and then for trying to kick you out. Although there probably is somewhere in like, I don't know if she signed a contract or anything when she first came in, because there usually is something about, because like they were talking about volunteers in the readings and stuff, and they talked about how do you hire a volunteer the same way you would an employee, you just don't pay them, which allows you to be able to fire them. But if she's an unpaid volunteer, why are they passing a law? Why aren't they just firing her?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's too excessive. Yeah, so it's too excessive, and she's going to form a lawsuit. She's like, there are tons of other ways you could have done it other than making a law saying I can't be there.
Yeah. And there's probably other people that volunteered there too. So
yeah,
they're just attacking her.
Yeah, it's very specific. How could you repair the situation? The husband and wife need to have a talk. Like, he needs to explain what's going on, like why she can't work there or something like that. Like, they need to fix that.
Yeah.
What else could they do?
I don't see how they couldn't just come to an agreement before the court thing. Like, why couldn't they just... It would be easier just to talk about it before there was a whole...
Yeah, agreed.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay. Scenario number 4. Ooh. That's mean.
Hmm. Hmm. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Well, they
Okay, so how, what could have prevented this from occurring?
well, maybe if they didn't let go of the volunteers and they actually, because letting them go or getting rid of them makes it seem like they're guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh.
I don't know. Do they have?
Okay.
Do they have evidence to like?
Yeah, how this could have prevented is that someone could have listened to them. The Jersey City Police or whatever. Or no, who was it they talked to? The person that they talked to. So the county officers could have actually done something instead of just not listening, because that's why they brought up the stuff, was because no one was listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
They probably could have also gone to other resources other than just like straight to the public.
Yeah.
Because like just talking to random county police officers, they're not going to be able to facilitate an investigation like that. They'd have to go like through specific channels to set up like something like that. They'd have to have evidence, so they'd have to be like documenting, okay, picture of me putting this in the like animal or something like that, or
Yeah.
documenting like all the different times. So those kind of things would like definitely help with their case. They could sue the company, the shelter, for firing them but they're like volunteers. So that's weird.
Yeah.
But they
Say it
could
a
sue the
violation of the
company.
amendment.
But I don't know if they should sue the company for like wrongdoing towards them, or if they should sue the company for like animal abuse kind of thing. Or if that's like two totally separate things.
Yeah. I mean, but they haven't. I mean, if they could prove that they were abusing the animals, I don't know if they can.
So, okay. This is on our second question. Is the organization liable for a lawsuit? Why or why not? So the shelter, are they liable? Yeah, because they are doing things that are sketchy. although they do have a police officer volunteering there, and like if the police officer doesn't see anything going wrong, maybe his word would be counted higher than the volunteer's word, like the other volunteers. I don't know. It would depend if like
Didn't they say
if they show what they see to like other people or how many people know about it, kind of thing. But yeah, because the company shouldn't they shouldn't like fire them because of exposing animal cruelty. Like that is something that isn't right, I don't think, because they're at fault for doing something wrong, and the employees were like stepping up to say like this isn't right. Although I think they should have been reported to someone else. They should have been reported to like the animal health facility care person, the National Animal Health Society. There has to be one.
There would be a higher official that comes.
Yeah, they're more equipped to deal with that.
Yeah.
Okay. How do we resolve this how would you go about repairing the situation? Doing like a full investigation into the company, seeing what's wrong, if there is anything wrong, if they're like, because I don't think a company would actually like say you're getting fired because you like told on us. They're gonna find some other way to like fire them. So they're gonna have a hard time proving that that's the reason why the company's firing them. They're gonna be like, you did not clock in right, or you are not a good employee. There's a lot of like easier ways to get rid of somebody than you were late too many times. So like either resolving like those lies that are told, or like understanding, okay, that was actually because you were late too many times. That's why you got fired. Like we couldn't rely on you. So like understanding what's actually going on and like how the different parties are involved. And that I think that will happen in like a law case, figure out thing. So it probably wouldn't have to go to trial, but figuring out like what's going on and who's at fault. Because we don't know. We just have like the word of the two volunteers. You don't hear anything the company's saying.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
Next one. 5. Yay. Okay.
That would be very terrible.
That happened in Canada. So I think the fire department could be at fault, but let's start at the beginning. What could have prevented this from occurring? Like triple checking, double checking to make sure everything's fine before like leaving the house. Like, yeah, they put the fire up, but making sure that there were no other like fires and stuff, like being more cautious of that kind of stuff. Maybe like bringing someone else in to check, like, hey, we think we got everything, but you just want to make sure. Or like
maybe
using better equipment.
Was out, but then something else they did started it. Like, how would they know?
Who started
it? What if it was something they started a fire again on accident? Like, what if that was the case? I don't know. How do you know?
It was the fire department's fault.
Yeah.
How can you prove that? That is not up to me. Okay. So what other preventions could have been, like making sure everyone knew where they were and that no one was trying to get more money? And then like making sure you're using proper equipment, like there's like foams and stuff that like spray everything down, that like make sure that it becomes fire like resistant. Okay, what's next? Is the organization liable for a lawsuit? Why or why not? If we think the people relit their house, then no, they do not deserve one. But if they miss something, like in their like findings or whatever, then yes, because it's their job to make sure that the house is safe.
It also says that they didn't have specialized equipment or know anyone that.
Maybe they should have talked to someone who did.
Yeah.
I know it costs more money probably, but like double checking to make sure. So the insurance companies probably rather them have to like go out and get a second opinion than to be paying the 9 months of them not being able to live in their house at all. Instead of having to repair one room, they're having to repair a whole house. So
that's true.
They probably would rather have them gone and like made sure everything was good instead of being like, yeah, we're pretty sure. And then have like a consequence of it. So, how would you repair the situation?
Well, I think they're gonna get sued.
So they're gonna get money back. So the fire department's gonna. So that's how you repair a situation. Probably having like the fire department come in and like either state they're wrong, or having the fire department like create new policies and procedures saying like every time this happens, now we have to have the right equipment come in to detect to make sure it is like part of our like routine now. It's not something that we can skip. So like the department either like investing in more equipment so that things can be made sure they're safe.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
More
but
money.
Yeah, the fire department's at fault. Well, from the limited information we have, it looks like the fire department's at fault.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you can't make a judgment on any of these because we don't have all the information.
All the facts, yeah. It's hard to know how it is in real life. It's hard to know. It's at fault.
Okay, so that is our discussion, and we will now go work on our WPO.